Hello frequencies, welcome back to Aspirants Frequency. In the series of economic survey of 2023-2024, we are going to see the fourth chapter in this video. Let's directly get into this video. For those who are new to the channel, I have uploaded the previous videos of from chapter 1, 2 and 3 separately in the previous videos. I will provide the link in the description box. Kindly do check out, and I will also provide the on-pager notes in the PDF link in the description also. Kindly download and use it. So yeah, let's get into the video. In this chapter they have discussed about the external sector in this chapter. So let's get, for those who are new, I have segregated this video into the concepts, basic concepts which are discussed, data and reports or organizations, and the schemes which are mentioned in the chapter. First, concepts. The concepts like reshoring, nearshoring and friendshoring. Shoring, it's nothing but there is a MNC company, there is a company which is located in another country B. If the country is already located in A, then it is relocating it to its home country, then it's reshoring. Nearshoring is from the word near, you can assume that it's nearshoring. That is, if there is, we have India, we have Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and some other countries, near countries. Like we are shoring to the nearby countries, it's nearshoring. Then friendshoring, it's same as the word intimates, it's to the neighborhood friendly countries. We are shoring the company locations. Then the trade openness indicator, it is an indicator of how much export and import is happening when compared to the overall GDP. That is, the total export plus import divided by the whole GDP gives a percentage of how much trade open, that is how much trade open a country is. Then the forward and backward participation, it is consider there are three countries, A, B and C. Country A produces raw materials and exporting to B, then it produces some intermediate goods, and C produces finished goods. Country A, which produces raw materials and supplies to other country, or the forward part, it is called forward participation. Then the country C, which produces finished goods at the final stage, is the backward participation in the economy. Then the economic integration, we have seen economic European Union. It's a kind of an economic integration of the country. There are some stages. For example, preferential trade agreement, free trade agreement. Free trade agreement is a common term which we are going to discuss, and the comprehensive economic cooperation agreement and the comprehensive economic partnership agreement, common market, and the economic union. It's the final stage. The economic integration goes step by step from here to here, with each and every step carries further relaxed policies. In preferential trade agreement, there is a positive list of goods. Like for example, 1, 2, 3. These are the positive list of goods which can be traded freely without any duties or excise, without any customs. So it's a preferential trade agreement which has a positive list of goods. Then the free trade agreement, which is, it has a negative list of goods. That is, it has list of goods which cannot be traded freely, except those everything can be traded freely. That is the free trade agreement. It contains a negative list of goods. Don't confuse this both. Then the comprehensive economic partnership agreement or comprehensive economic cooperation agreement, which means apart from free trade between goods and services, there is also some other policies like phytosanitary measures, tariff, quota. These are all detailedly discussed in the comprehensive economic agreements. Then the customs union, there is a common market. Then the economic union, that is the whole countries have a common economic currency. So they can be, for example, like the European Union has in euros as a common currency. Then it was in the news because it has the FTA. Recently India has signed with the UAE, Mauritius and the European Free Trade Association countries. European Free Trade Association, it's association of non-European countries, non-European Union countries. Don't confuse with this. There are 4 countries, that is Iceland, Switzerland, Norway, and Liechtenstein. These are the 4 non-European countries we have signed the FTA with them. Then the net FTA is the gross FTA minus repatriation and disinvestment, which you have known by the way. Repatriation is getting back the, for example, company India is investing in, for example, Sri Lanka, and due to some reasons it is getting back all the investments back. Taking back all the investment is the repatriation or disinvestment. Then the greenfield and brownfield investment, that is greenfield is freshly starting investing project. For example, an infrastructure is developed freshly. When brownfield is, for example, there is a infrastructure already happened here, you are developing it further, it's the brownfield investment. Then the managed floating and exchange rate. Exchange rate of the currency is declared by fixed floating and market based floating, but in India we are doing a managed floating, that is mostly it is market based, but due to some extraordinary conditions, when there is some extraordinary conditions, the RBI get into that and manage the exchange rate. It's the managed floating. Then the rear and near, which means the nominal effective exchange rate and the real effective exchange rate. Nominal effective exchange rate is considered, for example, we have the exchange rate different countries for different rates. For example, for the country 1 we have 1 rupee is equal to, for country 1 we have 60, then country 2 it is 70, then country 3 it is 80. So if you average all these things and find a value, then this is the nominal exchange rate. Okay, when this nominal exchange rate is adjusted with inflation, then it is the real effective exchange rate. That's it, the concept. The net international investment position, it is the total external assets minus liabilities for the country. For example, it's the net international investment position beyond the boundaries of a country. Then the China plus 1 strategy, that is the corporations or multinational companies are shifting the Chinese production manufacturing parts to the another country due to the protectionist measures. They are looking for another countries, like for example Singapore, India, and some other countries as a China plus 1 strategy. India can integrate or promote the strategy. For example, India can integrate this policy, or it can promote the through FPI or FTA investments to reap benefits from this China plus 1 strategy policy. Then let's get into the data and reports. It's the logistic performance index released by the World Bank. It has 6 pillars. For example, customs, infra, tracking, timeliness, service quality, ease of arranging ship. These are the 6 pillars. Likewise, the Niti Aayog also releases the logistics ease of development across states. This is a scheme by the Niti Aayog for boosting or strengthening the logistic infrastructure. In 2023, India is in this index, India ranked around 38th rank. We are aspiring to be within 25th rank by 2030. Then the World Investment Report released by the UN Customs, Trade and Development Organization. In India, export share of goods is around 3.3%, services is 1.7%, which is the 7th largest in the world. Global Trade Outlook, it is a report released by the World Trade Organization. The defense exports in India, we are recently doing for Dornier 228 aircraft, BrahMos missile with Philippines, Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher, we are also exporting it for boosting FDI and export. Then Apple, which is mobile phone manufacturing company, which is producing assembling around 14% of the global production in India. High remittance receiver, India is the highest remittance receiver of around $120 billion. External debt or GDP ratio, we are maintaining around 19%. This is some of the data for the current year and some indices or reports which can be used in the prelims or intros or conclusion or somewhere in the economics or infrastructure related questions. Then the schemes which are discussed here are National Action Plan for Toys. This is basically for decreasing the custom duty and the sample testing, the quality checking for promoting the national Indian products, rather importing it from other countries, so that reducing the fiscal burden. Indian food. These schemes are mostly related to sector wise, so kindly note it down. Indian Footwear Leather Development Program, Market Access Initiative, then the District Export Hub, District as an Export Hub Initiative, which is basically not just making the coastal areas but also a district wise export hub, so that there will be a more logistic friendly and export promotion. PLA scheme, production linked incentive schemes, then the state and state export promotion committee or district export promotion committee is created for the promotion of export from the smaller areas. One district one product initiative is done to boost to concentrate on a product and giving out better quality of that product alone. One district one product. Then the PM Gati Shakti National Logistics Policy, PM Gati Shakti Master Plan for integrating all the ministries plans for efficient infrastructure planning. Then the unified logistic interface platform for a single window clearance and for faster logistic tracking purposes. Then the Sagarmala project, which is a portlet development of the coastal areas. Then the Lee scheme, logistic ease across the development across and developing the states. It is released by Ministry of Commerce and Industries. It has three pillars. The logistic performance index, which has released by the World Bank, which has 6 pillars, but the logistics ease across different states is it has 3 pillars. Kindly mention it. INSTC and IN North-South Transport Corridor, which passed from the Chabahar port to the Russia. Then the India-Middle East Economic Corridor, which is planned to connect the multimodal connectivity project from Eastern Indian West Coast to the Middle East to Europe, through Middle East to Europe through Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar and other areas to improve the production and exporting goods and services. Then some of the keywords in this chapter are the global value chain, currency volatility, emerging market and developing economics, de-risking and decoupling, which is like mainly dealt with the China plus one strategy, where the countries are decoupling themselves from a particular country and diversifying their interest in other countries to reduce the risk, that is de-risking. Then the hyper-globalization, we are moving from hyper-globalization to globalization. Then deglobalization. Globalization is a process of interconnectivity in trade, services, communication and all other is the globalization. When this globalization increased at a rapid rate, it is the hyper-globalization, hyper-connectivity. But due to its negative follows, it gets slowed down to globalization, and now we are moving to deglobalization because of a lot of climate change and other negative effects of the globalization. Backend services, India is moving from backend services like for example BPO and normal processes, backend services to high-end value-added services. Because of higher education and skilled labor force, we are moving to high-end value services, so that there will be more service export, then more forex resource, then the global captive centers of MNCs as a hub for global technological infusion. Then the tier 2 cities, it's basically, then the manufacturing, we have the low tech manufacturing, medium tech and the high tech manufacturing. Low tech includes the food, textile and wood, some of the basic low tech. Medium tech includes the petroleum, refining, chemical, plastics manufacturing. High tech includes electrical, optical, transport machines. Liberalization is opposite to the protectionism, that is promoting the self and reducing the imports. Then the third party outsourcing or contract manufacturing, It's like if it happens, it will lessen the FDA inflow into a country. For example, take contract manufacturing. For example, a country A is there and country B is there. In country A, directly invest in country B through FDA and produces goods and services. Consider if there is a country C here. If country A has a company C here, it doesn't directly invest in country B, rather it contracts to country C to lesser prices, and it contracts to country B and directs to the country C. Then there is a non-direct FDI inflow into a country, so that there is less than FDI and lesser development of a particular technological infusion or the product manufacturing. Then the policy stability is one of the main reason for the economic growth and development. Because of the stability, the products can be, there will be a boost to the industries to invest and stably perform. So that's it for the fourth chapter. I hope it would help at least to some extent to this UPSC preparation. Thank you. See you in the next chapter.